in all states are different. In Florida, as long as you're non-construction, you can form an LLC, apply for an exemption, and have up to 5 employees. But you have to be non-construction.
That's what I'm on there.
Yep.
So what happens if a guy gets hurt on a job site?
Pardon me?
What happens if one of your guys gets hurt on a job site?
You're up. Well, you're an LLC, so you're protected there.
So they take your company.
Yep.
Right.
To me, I built my company, I built my company, put a lot of sweat, blood, and tears into it, a lot of nightmares and a lot of sleepless nights going into jobs that I don't think I would ever risk that opportunity for somebody else. Just my opinion.
I do the employee leasing you were talking about.
Yeah, your employee leasing, you can go through a work, you can send your employee to a leasing company. It might cost you a little bit more money because they're gonna charge you $2-3 extra an hour, but it's a great way to do it too. But if you don't, and you want your own company, there are companies out there who do cover that type of stuff. So, anything else on expenses? Yeah.
I've got a question about taxes. Is that included in your payroll? Where is that at on your expense?
For my personal taxes?
Yeah.
No, that's done on my own personal tax return. That's
So
part of my
completely
profitability. I end up paying that out of my profitability.
Okay.
Now, I got a question. You
Yeah.
said for window washing,
Yeah.
you have a 198, what's it, or 100?
My window cleaning, like for instance for me, I'm anywhere from $60 to $75 per man hour on window cleaning.
Okay. Because I do window cleaning storefronts,
Yeah.
and I know it's very hard to get that $68 to $70 an hour without really humping it. I mean, you're really running
Yeah.
from one store to the next.
Yeah.
And you're hoping to hit that hour.
Yeah.
Because I've been at one store, it takes 1 hour just to wash the windows because they're just so filthy.
Yeah. Well, it depends on your job. If we're going to a job that I know we're only doing once a quarter, I charge a heck of a lot more money than I do if I go with her once a week.
Right.
Most of my quarterly jobs, we're running $150 per man hour on those because we can.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm in a community, but you look around, there's glass everywhere. There's stuff that needs cleaned everywhere. I'm not afraid of those guys at $100 an hour. I'm not afraid of the guys that come in and say, I'm going to do it for half of what he does it for, because I know they're not going to be business long. It's proven. And I guarantee you, I don't know how many times these guys come to me a year into it. Oh, I'm going to be selling my business. You want to buy any route or material or equipment? And I'm like, no thanks. No thanks. I'm not going to help them out for them trying to come in and cut my throat.
And who wants to take over them because they're used to paying low
They're
prices?
used to paying low prices anyway. And if they were my old customers, they're going to pay double when they come back.
Yeah.
I don't need them.
Yeah.
It might sound arrogant, but that's the truth. I don't want somebody who's not loyal to me. I mean, I have some customers that we go back 24 years. They're loyal.
Yep.
And I've raised their prices over that period so I can maintain my profitability. I'm not going to do a job that I don't make money on, that I don't profit on. Now, a dollar's making money, but it's not profit. All right, anything else? Yeah?
We're at a point, too, of trying to roll over some of the expenditures into your costs to try to grow a little bit. What is the best thing that you say to justify? I mean, obviously you're explaining your growth to your clients, but what have you found the best way to kind of present that to them?
Like I said, if you're at that 66% profit margin on everything you do right now, you have room for growth. You might not be profiting as much when you first bring that in because you're not going to go in and hire 2 techs. You might hire one person to help you out that's a lower pay scale at $14 an hour or $12 an hour plus your 30% on top of that. You can build that in because now you're going to do more work. As long as the work is there, if you're ready to grow. If you're just saying, I need to grow because Rick Atkins has 12 employees. I want to be like Rick. How do you do that? I can't do that unless I have work. But when you guys look at it, I don't clean windows anymore. I don't hardly pressure wash anymore. I don't hardly do anything anymore because I'm out selling. I'm out making sure my business runs successfully. But I guarantee I'm not sitting in my office looking at my expenses. I don't have time.
So those 24-year customers, I don't know if that's what she was meaning, but how do you explain to them that you're going up? What causes them to stick with you?
They pay premiums on everything. I mean, everybody goes up in price.
Right.
except for, a great analogy a year ago was, when I first started my business, gas was 87 cents a gallon. What was it 2 years ago? What was it 4 years ago? On the way down here, it was $1.47. I'm like, that's cheap. Actually, that's cheaper than 87 cents a gallon. When you look at how much 24, 25 years in inflation at 3%, that's dirt cheap.
What I do,
Gallon milk's $4 a gallon.
if you're putting prices up for people, which my crowd of people are doing that are increase, I just ring them up on the phone. I say, I got some great news. They're like, what's that, Colin? I'm like, we're on our 24th year in business and your prices are going up. And they're like, okay, great. That's, I think when you're honest with people, you say, hey, listen, things are great. How's everything looking? You happy with the service? Great. Well, listen, we're just going to have a little bump, maybe $1 or $2 a truck, or, it's, but at this time round, I'll be able to give you a little extra. You can bring a price up and not necessarily do a free window cleaning, but if there's some spot you don't clean, or I'm going to bring it up a little bit, and then this time I'll throw in the dumpster pad for you. It takes the sting off, but it's just a matter of communication. It's like anything. You walk in and you see bacon one week it's $5 a pound or $7, it might drop down. It's like, but when you're consistent with people, and Andrew will tell you, like I don't BS anybody when I meet them, especially my customers.
Except 3 times a week you're BSing that. So.
He's still not successful.
Open mouth and
I said what he wants to be successful.
You're married, buddy.
I've never had any complaints. I'll be nice to you now, Andrew. I like you, man.
He's trying to say, commercial understands inflation, prices are going to go up. Commercial accounts put aside so much money for jobs.
Yeah.
Residential is the one that doesn't understand.
No, I don't do them the next year because there's always somebody else out there who will. There's enough customers in here. If we all went into one community, there's enough customers for everybody. It's just our different target points. I have niches. My niche is I don't do things that are $10. I have a bunch of route work, but they're not all $10 jobs. I won't do anything for less than 10. Even one window I won't do less for 10. It's not worth my guy pulling up. He can only do maybe 6 or 7 of those an hour, so he's running my $60 to $70. But if I go in and say, I can do this job for 5, this one for 5, this one for 5, by the time he's done in an hour, he only made me $30. And guess what I didn't do? I didn't cover my expenses nor my profit, because guaranteed he wants his money at the end of the week. So I just have to, you said, how do I do that? I just tell a customer, hey, your prices are going up. We're happy with our old prices. Well, you're going to have to find somebody else. Because there's always somebody out there who's willing to pay me more. There's always another residential customer who moves into a new house that wants their windows cleaned or their house pressure washed. There's always somebody out there to take their place. I can't even count on my hands, my feet, my toes, my years, how many jobs I've dropped because they won't pay me. They won't pay me enough.
Another quick thing, the Agent Clean University and having a franchise like that, it's the support group you get. It's tough to buy. I had an issue. You can't buy experience, and you have to earn it. But it's nice to be able to come in to a group of fellas like Andrew and John and have that network there. Also, it is okay just to have one employee and a part-time girl. You don't necessarily have to be profits where it's at. If you can go out twice a week for a meal with your wife and kids, and you've got your pool in the backyard, and you're off every other weekend, that's a great life to be having. You don't need 101 trucks on the road. How many headaches do you have?
Well, I have headaches. I bet you during my 8-hour shift that I'm actually at work between the hours of 8 and 5, I'm probably going around and putting out at least 3 fires during the day, or I'm running and getting a part that somebody broke. My time's worth more than that because I know I can do that on my own, $140 an hour. But I can't. I wish I could do that every single day. I tried that one year where I tried to say I'm gonna hire somebody bid. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And I went out and I ended up just killing it that year because and I had 10 employees, but I was extra. We had work, phone was ringing, we were off the hook. I did all the work, and at the end of the year, I'm like, I'm beat, I'm tired. Look at my tax return. But I know I made that myself. Where's it at? Because I lost track of everything else. I didn't maintain that. When you quit bidding, work quits coming in. I built my business since with Agent Clean. I've only had a website for 3 years, I think, right? Agent Clean website. Otherwise, for the first 21 years, I never owned a website. I was old school. Old school. I didn't care because I built my business on reputation and word of mouth. I go into my customers, hey, if you like our service, refer me to a friend. 3 friends later would call me. I'd say the same thing. Eventually I got so busy, I could charge what I want. You know, when I go out to a job and I'm busy, boom, price just went up. Because I'm busy. I'm gonna get those better paying customers. I'm gonna keep bringing them in. And the older customers who don't want to call and pay those higher prices anymore, they don't call. It's just a turnover. It happens in everything. Whether, you know, if I'm a grocery store, like you said, you work, you know, gas price of milk goes up. You guys say, we don't want it anymore. And then there's no milk in the grocery store. Everybody's gonna pay it. Go to Sam's, it's $2.38 a gallon, I think, right? Anything else, guys? I hope I helped some people out. You know, a lot of guys who, you know, are sitting in here with 20 years experience, they understand it. Sometimes it takes years and years and years. Rick will go over that. You know, you just kind of let things go, and by the time you know it, you're unprofitable, and you're trying to figure out how did that happen. I've always been profitable. We bid according to what our expenses are. So if I go in and say, hey guys, I want a new building, and it's $5,000 a month for a new building because I want everybody to know that I have the nicest building in the industry. I gotta add that to now my fee just went up per hour because I have to add that to it in order for me to pay for it. It's not like how am I going to pay for it like I used to say. I know how I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to charge my customers. So.
Just answer a lot of questions I've been asking the whole week about how to charge pressure Powerwash.
Yeah.
I'm a contractor, and I do O&P, but labor is $20 hour. Labor is about $65 labor per
On a union scale?
on scale. You got payroll tax, workers' comp, all the taxes coming out, unemployment tax. So my price will probably be higher than yours.
You're right. Your price is going to be higher than mine because you're sitting. I mean, when I go to a governmental job and I have to pay, you know, I can't think of the name of the wages, but Davis Beacon wages, whatever.
David Bacon.
Yeah, Bacon.
That $20 hour is would be billed out more than you can't afford that. So
Yeah.
you still got more labor burden than what you have here. And I had vacation time and my OT, everything is on my side.
Every job's different. I have some jobs that we go out for a week. And like I explained before, when we started water feeding, that we were charging $2,400. It'd take us, 4 guys a day and a half, and now it takes us $2,400, 2 guys half a day. So I'm not saying I'm going to lower their price so they're at my margins. I have some jobs that pay great margins. I have some jobs that meet my margins. But at least every job I know meets that margin.
That's a good guideline.
Thank you.
Know how to estimate.
I get a question here too.
Yeah.
I thought it might be worth mentioning, I didn't hear you say this, but like, when you do have Joe Schmo, say you're cleaning JCPenney windows, and they say, hey, man, this guy's gonna do it for half the price. And you say, well, go with Joe Schmo. You've kind of burned a bridge behind you there. Since you know he's gonna fail anyway, it's good to say, well, give the guy a chance. He may need
I
the
also
job.
say too, I love to be your guy. When he can't make it, I'm your backup.
Right,
Call me.
not to burn that behind you.
Yeah. There's certain people I'll burn, on purpose because you just get tired of the crap. But there are certain people you don't want to burn, and you're right. That's a good point because I know there's a lot of people that I'm like, no, never again. So I'm going to make sure you know it when I walk out that door. Or you make that phone call. I hate when people call me and say, oh, our budgets can't afford it, and then 2 weeks later I see a guy that's cutting my throat there. And I walk in and I know I just spent $2,000, or I just bought a brand new car and spent $50,000 on a car, and they cut my throat. I'll never buy another car from it. I'll make sure they know it. That guy, guarantee that guy, he can't afford that $50,000 car because he's not charging the right amount of money for it. He'll never profit off it. Even if he's doing it himself, he's still gonna have expenses. Then his profitability is gonna be, it's not gonna be where I'm at, and so he's just barely making his home bills. He's gonna survive until something, a truck breaks down. I've seen most of the guys in our community who are cutting my price in half. Their car is probably lucky to make it the next week without putting a lot of money into it. Or they're on the side of the road. I've helped one of my competitors with ball tires one time. Helped him change out his tire because it blew out on the road.
If your prices are different, also make sure that you guys are comparing apples to apples. Because sometimes the guy's not paying workman's comp unemployment. And I know in our industry too, in Missouri, I don't know what's out here, but we don't have to have workman's comp as a owner.
I'm moving.
But that's still a liability. So I actually put myself through payroll and pay myself workman's comp. And so if you do get in a situation, a lot of times by educating the customer, they'll actually go with you knowing you're hired just because you've used that opportunity to educate them. So make sure that's the first step, and even with, business owners, the same thing. And that really helps, because we're working for a lot of times rich people. They don't want problems. They want you're your solution to their problems. So as long as it's running smoothly, you're doing it well, they'll pay extra money for it.
Yeah, they got a target on
Hey,
them for the Sue Happy
awesome.
person.
So with Agent Clean University, people are looking at like, what are they doing? Why are they doing it? It's $7.99 to come to any of our classes. Either it's a window cleaning class for 3 days, whether you come to my place in Iowa, whether you come to John. I mean, John does huge complexes. 400, 500 condominium complexes. And I look at it in for my business, and I say, that's gonna take me 3 days. And he's like, we've done it in a day for the last 20 years. I'm like, no way. Everybody's good at what we're good at. We have to find that niche and run with it. With our thing, we're not profiting any money, guys, by the time it's all said and done. So it's not about profitability to us. Again, it's about educating, but we have expenses that we have to cover, just like this here. But we're not looking at making a profit with it. We actually share the expense with the instructor. And like you guys have seen, we have Raymond Burke, Colin, Tim Welker, myself, and then John as instructors. We have Eric Seitz, John Karsma as an instructor. So those guys come, we pay their way to come to instruct. We have a lot of different instructors. We'll pay their way to get there, pay their hotel bills, everything else. By the time you're done, you're probably leaving with about $500 worth of chemical and other free stuff that we've had our sponsors donate to us. So, if you're to that point where you're like, hey, I really like to go, it makes sense, I guarantee you by the time you leave there and you're experiencing 3 days with us and the best, in our mind in the industry, and I'm not saying I'm the best, I've made a lot of mistakes, but I'm just saying learning from us. You will go home and you will double your money off that show probably within the first week. We're going to give you more than just this here. This is just a tidbit of what we do. I can't give away all my secrets. My attorney will be mad at me. So, anything else, anybody? All right, guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for learning.
Thank you, Andrew.